welcome to another episode of Copy Talk in the Athletic Training Room. A little bit late this week. We had a injury talk lined up. We were going to talk some tennis with the French Open taking place recently. Rafael Nadal, obviously, his illustrious career kind of coming towards a close with a history and injury. So we're going to dive into some of that. But an article came across my desk on Wednesday night that I thought was rather interesting, considering the conversation we had last week. Which, if you haven't had a chance to watch last week's episode, you should, or listen to last week's episode, please do. We discussed unchallengeable medical authority and absolute medical autonomy for medical staffs at college, and specifically at colleges and universities, and how that is a necessity for player health and safety, and it is our job as sports medicine professionals to uphold that. And the NCAA has actually had a policy on this since 2016. We know that the NCAA creates all sorts of guidelines and rules and whatnot, and this is obviously evidenced by a lot of the things going on with NIL right now, that they have all these guidelines and rules and they're absolutely meaningless with zero teeth whatsoever. And let's face it, clearly that medical autonomy piece is a suggestion more than it is a rule. It's, as in Pirates of the Caribbean talk, more like guidelines. And obviously that's very apparent. And we talked last week about the lawsuit going on at Penn State. Now, just as a refresher, former Penn State team physician was suing the university and had mentioned Coach James Franklin, as well as the former athletic director at Penn State University, in the lawsuit, and was suing for wrongful termination under the guise of the fact that he claimed that medical decisions were being influenced somewhat or strongly influenced by coaching staffs. And that is what led to his dismissal, was that he did not adhere to the wishes of the coaching staff, specifically football. The counter-argument from the defense was that he was dismissed because he lived 100 miles away in Hershey, and they wanted somebody who lived closer who could be on campus all the time. So fast forward to this week, and it just so happened that right before I was going to record this week's episode, a new article came across my desk updating us on last week. And it was published by ESPN on May 29th, so Wednesday of this past week. We are recording on May 31st, on Friday, and a jury found in favor of the team doctor who made these claims. So he won his lawsuit. He was awarded $5.25 million. And in punitive and compensatory damages. Trial took about 7 days. Many players, athletic trainers testified. And the interesting part about this, even though the NCAA has had this policy in place since 2016, this still apparently went on. A jury felt like this went on, and he was correct in his assumption that this did go on enough. Now, here's the kicker. The athletics department, specifically Coach Franklin and Coach Franklin and the former athletic director, faced really zero responsibility here, legally, at least in terms of what I'm reading. And please correct me if I'm wrong. Please comment on this. I'd love to hear opinions on this. Because of statute of limitations issues, they were basically dismissed from the lawsuit in 2020. They were named, or they were mentioned in the lawsuit. This obviously, the lawsuit and most of the testimony seemed to hinge around, everything I've read seemed to hinge around the fact that that there was outside influence from coaching staffs, from that people outside the medical profession, in multiple instances, from everything from mental health issues to ankle sprains to shoulder. Do I need to have an operation? Do I not? And I'll link this article in the description so you guys can look at it. But and just trying to get your way, coaches trying to get their way. Everything down to spatting or not spatting. And I don't mean spatting or not spatting because of medical reasons. And we can all, we can debate that in a different episode. We can debate that in the group. We can talk about the pros and cons of spatting. I've done it. I've not done it. Depends on where you are and kind of, where you stand on the issue. That notwithstanding, the issue was the Nike sponsorship, allegedly, and covering up logos, allegedly, and that allegedly, Coach Franklin needed advance notice of who was on the list to be taped, allegedly. Now, there's something to be said for coaches wanting control of their program. I get it. That's fine. There's something to be said for coaches wanting to ask questions, to learn more about injuries, to understand exactly what's going on. I've had coaches who don't want much information at all. I've had coaches that have wanted very detailed information. Not all those coaches are influencing decisions. They are simply asking questions. There are coaches, however, and we're not going to get into specifics or names or places, but I do know firsthand and otherwise, who try to insert themselves in different capacities, either directly, indirectly, how they go about asking questions, the questions that they ask. It happens. I know that it happens. And this is proof that it happens. And if it happens somewhere like Penn State, I mean, come on. And nothing is ever going to be done about it. In fact, there was a couple quotes in this article I found interesting. When they talked about the 2016 policy in place by the NCAA, Dr. Lynch, who is the plaintiff in this case, who won $5.25 million for correctly asserting, is from the jury's assertion that this happened. He said, and I quote, there has not yet been one school punished for violating medical autonomy issues. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Because as I said last week, I promise you that it does. And that's a problem. The fact that the NCAA doesn't have any teeth to do anything about this, and I'll tell you why, but we'll get into that in a second. That's a problem. They want to be all about student-athlete health and safety. They want to preach student-athlete wellness. They want to do all these kind of things, but at the end of the day, they just got sued for a multi-million-dollar concussion lawsuit, right? There's all these issues with health and safety of student-athletes. People leaving the profession. Athletic trainers leaving the profession. Schools not paying enough for their athletic trainers or paying enough for their medical providers, and then they just keep paying coaches tens of millions of dollars as if, and then they allow the coaches to influence the medical decisions without any kind of medical training whatsoever. And that's at the Division I level. This happens at Division II. This happens at Division III. This happens at NAIA. This happens at JUCO. Places with a lot less medical resources than the Division I level has. And I'm not saying those athletic trainers are any less great professionals. And in a lot of cases, they're even better. I've said over and over and over again, the places with the best clinicians, again, nothing against anybody at any level, but some of the places with the best clinicians are some of the places with the least resources. Why? Because you have to do more with less. Right? So I don't think you can discount the quality of a professional based on where they are. But what I'm saying is this happens everywhere. And the fact that this is bringing it to light hopefully will make some changes. I doubt it. But even Dr. Lynch said, and I quote, "This is bigger than just Penn State. It's really a national crisis, and things have to change." I 100% agree. 100% agree. Statement from the university, of course, said that Penn State Health and the university remain dedicated to the health and well-being of the student athletes. Fine. That's probably true. Of course they have to say that, but that's probably true. Doesn't mean that the coaches aren't influenced in the medical decisions. Why does it happen? My opinion is it all comes down to the bottom line. And that's reflected in the allegation about the Nike contract. He didn't want people spatted. It claims in this article that there are allegations that he didn't want people spatted because of the Nike contract. Whether that's true or not, it highlights the money issue. It's about the money. It's about winning games for the money. The more games you win, the more money you get. And that's 100% more true now with the college football playoff and the ESPN and television contracts. Billions of dollars. Billions with a B. Especially in the Big Ten. And the problem is when money and wins come into play, they automatically will mean more than the health and safety of the student athlete. If it meant more, if the health and safety of the student athlete meant more, you know who'd be getting that money first? The medical staff, the strength staff, the mental health staff, the nutrition staff, the players, which probably is coming now. They'd be getting the money first. You know where the money's going? Not there. In most places, not there. And this is an epidemic of a much bigger issue. I saw some discussion on it on LinkedIn this week, and I was very happy to see that. A couple of colleagues of mine discussing not only people leaving the profession and the recent the recent NCAA webinar and an article that came out from the AP about this, but about people leaving the profession, but also about this issue. And so I appreciate people having that discussion because I think it's a discussion that needs to be had. We've been trying to harp on this since I was a member of ICSM, where athletic trainers and physicians here are getting fired because they are not in line with what the coach wants, and the coach brings in their own people. And that was supposed to be legal as of 2016. Again, it's a guideline. Not really a rule. It's a guideline. So, when you have coaches pressuring you to release an athlete as an athletic trainer, you have to go back. And one of my mentors told me this. I was in grad school. Two of my mentors, this is what they would always tell us in grad school, which is do what is medically right. And I have always tried to live by that. Whenever if I'm ever in a situation where feel pressured by a coach to do something that I don't think is right, or that I don't feel comfortable with, or that the physician didn't approve, my job is to do what is medically right by the player. I can yell and cheer and scream and be happy for my guys or happy for my girls. I can drink the Kool-Aid to a point, but at the end of the day, my job is to do what is medically right by the player. And I can get excited about the success of the athletes on the field in terms of winning. My job is not to win games. I get it. Coach's job is to win games. But there has to be this unchallengeable medical authority, because at the end of the day, the health and safety of the student athlete has to be paramount. Has to be. Because if it's not, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's a game. Something has to change. And I think it's going to take some sort of, astronomical penalty to somebody for somebody to wake up and say, you know what? I can be as mad as I want to be when I go home in my car, and I can be as mad as I want to be about that person. But at the end of the day, this is their job. And I'll say what I said last week. The athletic trainer is not telling the coach to run or pass on 3rd and 3. The athletic trainer is not telling the pitching coach to throw a breaking ball instead of a fastball. The athletic trainer is not making the pitching change. So why is a coach inserting themselves into the medical decisions? The medical director, the director of sports medicine, all these people, right, have hired the athletic trainer and the team physician because they were the best person for the job. And they trusted them to make the medical decisions for the team. Why second guess that? The paranoia has to stop. The paranoia towards medical staffs has to stop from coaching staffs. And if it doesn't, I got to tell you, I don't think you're going to have many athletic trainers and physicians, for that matter, that are going to stick around. You're going to see more of this. You're going to see more athletic trainers leaving the profession, specifically. It's going to get worse before it gets better unless something is done to curtail the issue. This is one of many, many issues, but it is an issue, and this needs to be thrown into the conversation. Otherwise, I don't know what to tell y'all, but for me, if I go to a situation, if I knew I was going to a situation where the coach was going to influence my decisions, there is not any amount of money and work-life balance on the planet that would make me take that job. I don't care where it is. I don't care what you're giving me. I don't care how many days I do or don't have to work. Because if I can't do my job to the best of my ability, the way I know how to do it, sorry. Now, if my boss, my medical director, and I have a conversation and we decide, or I'm learning something, or it's a new thing, fine. But not somebody with no medical training. Sorry. I'm always down to learn new things, but there are lanes for a reason. Until I get to start calling the 3rd down play, nah, I'm out. Thank you to our sponsors, as always, to the Athletic Training Room. Of course, thank you to Essity, BSN Essity, the trusted name in sports medicine, injury care, and prevention. As a supplier and manufacturer of Coach Tape, Elasticon, Zonus, and other industry-leading products, Actimove from Essity empowers athletes and active individuals to perform at their best while staying protected. Visit actimove.us and click the link in the description to learn more about Actimove's full range of reliable, high-quality sports medicine solutions to keep you moving forward. Essity, Actimove, BSN, your creator or your home of Coach Tape, trusted for a reason. We're also brought to you by Firefly Recovery, your trusted partner in the journey to wellness. Whether you're an athlete looking for optimal performance or someone seeking relief from daily discomfort, Firefly Recovery provides cutting-edge solutions to accelerate your recovery, Firefly Recovery provides cutting-edge solutions to accelerate your recovery and reduce pain. Visit recoveryfirefly.com or click the link in the description below for more information. Also, if you can't click the link in the description, you can request samples from Firefly. Try it out yourself. Get back to feeling and performing your best with Firefly. Thank you as well to our newest sponsor and the newest member of the Athletic Training Room sponsorship group, Sway Medical. Join thousands of athletic trainers and healthcare providers across the U.S. and globe that use Sway for their baseline testing, sideline evaluations, return to play decision making, and more. Sway is a mobile objective measuring tool for an entire injury life cycle. Click the link in the description to learn more about what Sway has to offer you, your department, and your athletes. I always enjoy these talks with y'all. They're always an adventure, always leads somewhere interesting. And if you're like me and you enjoy a good adventure, you should definitely check out Land Pirate LLC. Land Pirate is the ultimate destination for adventurous, high-quality apparel. Not only will you find unique, bold clothing for your urban or outdoor adventures, but you'll also make a difference in the world. Did you know that Land Pirate donates 10% of all sales to charity, aiming to empower individuals while forging a path towards a better world? Check out the link in the description, and you can use my promo code DATGirlDad, DATGIRLDAD, all caps, to receive a 15% discount on your next purchase. Unleash your inner explorer with Land Pirate. And if you're a company looking in the sports medicine industry and you're looking for a way to connect with over 2,000 athletic trainers each and every week, multiple times a week, the Athletic Training Room Facebook group is for you. The Athletic Training Room Facebook group offers a perfect platform for companies that are committed to advancing the athletic training profession. We are always seeking sponsors aligned with our vision, ready to provide innovative tools and resources that help athletic trainers excel and better serve their patients. Contact us today to explore sponsorship opportunities by reaching out to our marketing wing, 4D Digital Media, 4ddigitalmedia@gmail.com. Let's book a call to discuss how you can make a lasting impact in the world of athletic training. Thank you, everyone, as always, for joining. Join us again next week as we dive into some more injury topics. I hope this was insightful. Check out the article I was discussing in the description below, and have a fantastic weekend. We'll talk to you next time.